Now, forgiveness isn't all that simple for most people, right? Sometimes forgiveness needs to just be what I like to call releasement, where you release the energy of the pain that you've endured, but you still recognize that that person that caused you that pain is not good for you, and it's not positive to be inside of your life, your home, your heart. This I call releasement, right? Because, I mean, the pain of living with anger and unforgiveness for 55 years is, wow. I mean, it just does a number on the human body, on the human intellect, on the heart, on the decisions that that person might be faced with. So sometimes forgiveness is not about saying, oh, hey, thanks for screwing me over. Sometimes it's about, I acknowledge that you screwed me over. I appreciate your contribution to my existence, but now we must part ways. And this is discernment, right? This is where you decide in your heart whether that person has a place in your future, in your present. If you're clinging to people for reasons such as possible financial assistance, living quarters, a job, a marriage, sometimes it's the best move to walk away with forgiveness in your heart, again, for yourself and for the person who has tread upon you, right? And here we are at ritual, right? We're upstairs in the sacred space. We're not outside on the patio right now, the persecuted patio. God, we wish we were out there freezing our butts off with the fire going, right? Maybe with some marshmallows on a big long stick. That would be ideal. But we're upstairs today. You know, first of all, because it's really cold outside, but second of all, because we actually can't go out there right now in light of pending litigation. You know, who knows what's driving these people to this persecution, to this tyranny? We certainly don't. We don't get it. Holly is a person who's just trying to run her business. She's trying to enrich her community. She is trying to make a difference in this hateful world through this square footage that she has turned into a sanctuary, right? And with all of the financial troubles in the world right now, for her to be so brave to open her doors and her heart to this mission should be celebrated by everybody, shouldn't be tyrannized by anybody. You know, who are we in this country where we can say, hey, you know, I don't like the way you're running your business, so I'm going to do all I can to screw it up. Here we are at forgiveness and releasement again, right? Holly is actively searching for a new place to be that will support her vision, her mission, her energetic offering to this troubled world. But it would appear that the powers that be here have no interest in that, have no interest in the upliftment of humanity. They have interest in the dollar signs and basically control. And people who need to control other people, well, I find that those people aren't really very happy to begin with. And I really don't know what to say to a person like that other than possibly rethink your position, reevaluate your goals. I mean, if your goal is to get her out of here, well, you're doing a pretty good job at that. Because, I mean, for crying out loud, Holly can't even sell gift cards for the upcoming season because of the uncertainty of this situation. She's being held in limbo. And that is just not fair. Right? And how often have we said to the universe, darn it, that's just not fair. Right? Kicking rocks in the parking lot, screaming at the universe. Universe hears you. But the universe cannot change your heart for you. This is inner work. This is the release of your own personal demons. You know, I was recently sitting with a dear beloved friend who was telling me a story about how he manifested some faith in his experience. And I was just so touched by the fact that he had heard what I said to him. And I don't know if you've ever seen a mustard seed, right? But it is tiny, okay? It is the point of a pencil on your palm. It is, if you have mustard seeds in your hand and you go, whoops, they're gone, because they're so tiny, right? But doesn't the universe tell us that the only amount of faith that we need is the size of that mustard seed, right? I don't care what you're going through right now. The universe has a beautiful plan for your life, a beautiful home for you to come home to, a beautiful family that loves you. And you are asked to call upon this teeny weeny mustard seed of faith to get you through a bad situation, right? And my friend happily reported that his situation resolved within 3 days. Now, he could have gone the other way that he normally goes, which is to completely panic and get that big ball of fear right here in your solar plexus, right? Just eating you from up, from down, from left, from right, interrupting your sleep. Can't eat, can't laugh, can't smile, can't love properly because of that thing in your gut, right? But on this day, he said, no, I'm gonna depend on that and see what happens. Heartwarming, uplifting, incredibly powerful. And you know, the way the world is right now, we are all being asked to call upon that teeny tiny dot of faith that everything will work out. And I encouraged Holly 100,000 times to do that.
She did.
And she did. And you know what? Even though there's nothing really to announce right now, I feel that the tide is turning, and I feel that whatever door is slamming in her life will lead her to a bigger and better door because of her faith. And it's not just faith in the universe, it's faith in herself. It's her understanding that she's done nothing wrong here. None of us have done anything wrong here. We are completely forgiven as far as the east is to the west, according to the universe. We are viewed as little children. And me having 3 beautiful little grandsons, when they knock something over or wreck my house, I don't terrorize them and make them feel bad about it. I just smile and wait until they leave, and then I clean it up. And that's how the universe views us, as little children. And I have a few things that the universe has directed me to share with you today. And the first one is about faith. Your life in faith is a faith without words, for there are no words to express faith. Faith is a basic attitude that one finds because one wills it or wishes it to be so. But because as a result of willing to know the truth, it comes to you. And the prodigal son and daughter have come home. Faith is simply faith that the Creator that made all that there is, including you, is a creator of infinite and intelligent love. That it loved you as part of itself. as a child to nurture, as a personality from which to learn about itself, as all parents learned from their children. Aiming toward living a life in faith is nothing more than releasing fear and allowing that which is to be, to be. Two choices in life, fear and love. And just so you know, fear isn't even real. It's something that was constructed to control us, because you can't control people through love. You have to control people through fear, right? We here at Ritual have been living in fear ever since this whole thing started. Manufactured fear to maybe make us run away, but gosh darn it, here we are, doing a live stream on a Sunday morning.
Stand strong.
Right?
Fuck yeah.
We are choosing love. And we're saying, no thank you to your created fear. It is not that there is no balm for those heart-sore people moving through endless change, for there is. There is endless balm, endless compassion, and endless assistance. The challenge is in becoming still enough to receive. For the self is used to the struggle to breathe, to pump blood, to prepare the food, to keep things in order and move ahead. The third density training is to do, to act, to meet and solve all incoming problems. So fear not these times of change, but know that it is the time to turn to the silence with an especial understanding of the importance of this rest for your soul. There is a need to make from time to time in a day a disengaging from the details, the morasses and tangles of effort and profit. How precious it is to simply be able to stop, to rest and knock at the door of your own heart, hoping, waiting for the moment when the key turns, because the mind is finally silent. And that door springs open into that holy place wherein the Creator awaits. There is a timeless temple made of silence, arched with beauty, steepled with hope, founded on a simple faith that all is well. It is a spacious, spacious room, this holy of holies within. It is a wonderful slice of heaven, a small place of Eden where there is nothing rude, nothing imperfect, where there is never any change, because all is truly one. Allow yourself love's advantage. You are each leaving behind a long list of suffering rules and agendas that no longer need to be attended to. As you tune into your new reality, your new state of consciousness already waving to you, it is for you to join with this new hallowed salute, to join with this truth, allowing for instant recalibration to occur. The energies are here for you to try on in this way, to assist you as you open your heart and allow love's advantage. So here we are, resting in hope, trying to believe all is well, trying to ignore what is being told to us as far as what is going on in the world, because none of us know for sure what's really going on in the world, because we're not there, we're here. And we're only listening to people who are telling us what they want us to hear. Prices are up. Faith is down. Uncertainty abounds. We're all worried, right? Will I make the rent? Will I make the mortgage? Will I find a new place to dwell? I want to remind you that the universe has a beautiful plan for each and every one of us, for each and every one of our lives. And all we need is that mustard seed of faith. And how does that work, right? It's a decision to say, yeah, no, sorry, not going down the road of fear today. I'm going down the road of faith. And I'm going to try to share that with everybody I meet. All the people who are trying to decide what to put in their grocery cart at the store. You know, maybe you just walk up to them and give them a look right in the eyes and say, you know what? I see you and all is well. I am blessed and you are blessed. Share a little love today. Share a little faith today. Share a little piece of your heart today, as Kim did with us. And open up that love to your own self. We are often our own worst critics. We can often say instantly, what is the one thing we would change about ourselves? And then we can add 10 more things that we would change about ourselves, because we suffer with comparison, which is another road of fear, right? I want you to be comfortable with who you are. I want you to know that you are worthy of appreciation, that you are worthy of respect, that you deserve to have a life worth living. I want you to enjoy being happy. Oh, how can you be happy and joyful with everything that's going on in the world? Well, goodness sakes, that's the best reason to be happy. Because we don't know what's really happening. We only know what we're being told. And I'm sorry, but I learned a long time ago not to believe what I'm being told. And it has made me a very difficult character in my life. There's people that love me, there's people who like me, and there's people who hate me and hope they never see me again. And to them I say, your wish is granted.
We're in that first camp. I was just gonna say, we're the love.
Every time a person tries to step up in my life and tell me what's wrong with me, there are 10 people behind them that tell me what is right with me. But in between all of those people is me, myself, and I. And I do look myself in the eye in the mirror every single day and affirm to myself my value, my worth, my gifts, my abilities, my failures, right? My faults, things I can work on. God knows they're there. But that doesn't make me a bad person. And that doesn't make you a bad person either. That just makes you a work in progress. And that's what the universe wants you to be, a work in progress from the day you came here to the day you go home and relay all the information about what you learned about living inside this meat computer. Because that's why we're here. We're here to figure that out, our emotional range, the entire range from the darkest of the dark lows to the brightest of the high highs and everything in between. We're not here to make it better for other people. We're here to make it better for ourselves. We're not here to save anyone from anything. We're here to save ourselves from our own condemnation. So what you say to yourself is super important. Words are containers of power. When you disparage yourself even slightly, the body says, you hurt me. And when you love yourself and forgive yourself, your body says, thank you so much. I needed that. And maybe there's days when you can't get that love from anybody else but yourself. And I know for a fact, through my own travels through this life, that until I love myself, I cannot properly love another. I cannot properly enter into any type of relationship unless I am looking at myself in the eyes in the mirror and confirming and affirming my value, my worth, and my journey, aside, apart, and separate from anyone else's. We are all one, and what I think of myself translates to you. What you think of yourself translates to me. And I want you to keep that in mind as you move through your life with all of the unexpected surprises that are waiting for us, probably in the near term, according to the universe. I encourage you to breathe in through the nose, holding that breath for a long count of 5, and then pushing that breath out of your mouth as though you are blowing out a candle across the room. And doing that 3 times in a row, several times through your day. Finding that place of quiet, that stillness, so that the universe can speak to you. And you know what I hear a lot from people who I tell that to? Or if I talk to about meditating, they say, yes, but all these thoughts keep coming up when I'm meditating. Well, have you ever considered that when you're meditating and you have set the intention to become still enough to hear the voice of wisdom, that those thoughts that are coming up are the universe speaking to you? Maybe you think they're just random thoughts that you've been worrying about. Probably not in meditation. They're probably being presented to you as something to dive into and to examine your relationship to. Don't dismiss those thoughts as, why can't my mind just be empty? Well, that's never going to happen. Never, never, never. Don't care what you smoke, what you drink, what you eat, where you go. Your mind is never going to be silent, ever. But in meditation, when you say, I intend to meditate, I intend to breathe 3 times, and inside that long count of 5 of holding my breath, that is the silence. That is the meditation. That's when those thoughts go boom, boom, boom. Take note of those thoughts. And then push that breath out and do that breath 2 more times. And then sit there, maybe with your journal, and analyze what did come up in your meditation. Maybe these are things that you do need to look at, that you do need to reconstruct, that you do need to reconfigure your approach to. The universe is always speaking to us. And the universe wonders why we don't listen. I have people who go and get readings every month. And I say to them, why do you want another reading? Well, because I didn't like the message of the last reading. Well, okay. That's very unfortunate, because that's the universe talking to you. All right, so I just encourage you to understand what's happening here. The universe is trying to speak to you directly, but you cannot hear it if you are condemning yourself, if you are hating people, if you are full of unforgiveness, if you are doing any number of things to self-sabotage yourself. Right? It's really very simple. Choose love, not fear. And so I'd like to end today with the original Lord's Prayer, the Aramaic words of Jesus. And if you've never heard this before, it's very different from the Lord's Prayer that most people recite. O Birther, Father, Mother of the cosmos, you create all that moves in light. Unite our I can to yours, so that we walk as kings and queens with every creature. Grant what we need each day in bread and insight. Forgive our hidden past, the secret shames, just as we consistently forgive what others hide. Deceived neither by the outer nor the inner, free us to walk your path with joy. From you is born all ruling will, the power and life to do, the song that beautifies it all. From age to age it renews.